Well, folks, there it is. My 101st Arabian Nights complete set. After all these years, today's collection auditing and taking a look, it's finally above 100 sets. Well, it's mid-2023. Nobody really cares, and nobody really seems to be into any magic long-term, and credibility's a zero, and Hasbro's destroyed everything, blah, blah, blah. So, I guess we are going to have a conversation, and we're going to audit this Arabian Night set, and we're going to have some fun today. Sit back, relax, and have a beautiful time. I started this journey a really, really long time ago, and I didn't really know if it was something I was ever really going to complete. Especially we had the big spikes in the market, and I thought in 2021, when the prices of older, ABU 4 Horsemen became so insane, I didn't think I'd ever really get above 100 sets. I didn't think it was actually something that was attainable. But after growing up and not having a whole lot, and always looking at Inquest and Scry magazines, and then my whole card collection in the 1995 through 1996 was simply a card collection filled with Chronicles, Fallen Empires, Homelands, 4th Edition, Ice Age. I always admired and dreamed what it would be like to have an Arabian Night set. So today, we're going to take a look at a special moment. Obviously, this one is not going to be a gem mint set, so this was not a super high expensive one. You can see the cards are very, very well loved and played. And we got a gorgeous City of Ass over here. And again, at the end of the day, yes, this ass has a little bit of wear, but I think we can all appreciate a nice, good piece of ass. Even if it doesn't have to be perfect. It can have some mileage on it, but City of Ass is always a nice one to have there. So we're going to come over here and we're going to take a look. I saw in the back here, we got the old Ali from Cairo. Very iconic card. This card always intrigued me when I was young. I didn't understand how you could have a card in play. No matter what, you can't lose the play. You can't lose the game. If Ali and his mustache was sitting there, you couldn't lose. It was something really, really strange to me. So this was obviously a player's set. Somebody that really enjoyed it. Held it for a very, very long time. So let's take a quick look at the old Bazaar over here. Kind of probably the most expensive card in the set. Or is it? Is Bazaar the most expensive right now? So definitely well loved over here. We got some definite side whitening and damage. How's the back? The back's not too bad. We got a nice little cut line, scratch line. There's a binder ding right there in the middle. You guys see that? Binder line. Some serious surface denting and damage right there. So, fortunately, that is definitely going to be unfortunately, nowhere near that's a pretty heavy played card there. Binder dings and damage, huh? What we got over here? We got the old city, Cyclones, Brass Man, beautiful flying women. What we got over here? Dancing Scimitar. Let's take a look at this Diamond Valley, shall we? Okay, this one's a lot nicer. This one's... Ooh, that's a lot nicer condition. Not minty gradable, but definitely a nice light play. That's a lot better looking. Very nice to see that. And again, certain cards were always kind of my Achilles heel of Arabian Nights. And the two biggest card in Arabian Nights that always got me was Drop of Honey and Diamond Valley. They were cheap when I first started. Drops were $50. Diamond Valleys were maybe 50 to 100 range. And I never bought a lot of these at once. I never really got after these. These were ones that I was always very low on. And then, of course, in GP Vegas, like 2017, I think it was, we had that big move, and Drop of Honey went from 50 to 500, and I never thought I would have a lot of them. It was kind of one of those bittersweet moments, like, oh, great, the 20, 30 I have, well, I just made a ton of money, but then I was like, well, it was kind of a funny thing because everybody always memed that the pump and dump Rudy are trying to push all the old prices up, but it was always very frustrating. Because it would put my plans to expand my positions on hold every time when we'd have these huge upticks. It was kind of frustrating. Markets like right now, again, it's been a long time. It's been months since I bought a complete set of Arabian Nights, and I kind of like it better like this because people aren't saying, Rudy, no, my Arabian Night sets are going to be $100,000 a set. I'm waiting. I'll sell to you for $50,000. Like, we're back to cheap prices. I mean, go to ABU, go to Card Kingdom, go to Star City. Look at the buy list on these things. They have tanked. I mean, everyone's like, oh, Rudy, Weiss is tanked. You're pumping and dumping Weiss. Flesh and Blood tanked. MetaZoo tanked. Pokemon's tanked. I'm like, when the market shifts as a whole, when that water level drops, it doesn't matter what ship you're on. All your ships are going down. And we look at something like this, and it's like, Arabian Night cards are probably between 20 and 40% off their all-time high, with some cards down 50 to 70%, especially the lower margin cards, the lower dollar amounts, because percentages look bigger. A $50 card can go to $20, and that's down 60%. The numbers get more dramatic. I mean, Library of Alexandria, I was paying $2,000 a card at the peak. I think the buy lists on Library of Alexandria's are like $600 to $800 now. That's a 60% decline on LOAs, on libraries. Anyways, good memory here. Elephant Graveyard. Elephant Graveyard and Old Man of the Sea were my very first cards I chose to expand in my Arabian Nights position started in 2014, did the rest of it in 2016. These cost me about $20 a piece. And I never understood. For the life of me, I didn't understand why a card like this doesn't come into play tapped, which passes the Rudy test, gives you colorless, and it has a special ability with no delayed or in play, no side effects, no pinging you. And I never understood why a card like this was $20. Well, Rudy, because mammoths and elephants aren't a thing. If you played Mujik the Yu-Gi-Oh!ing, you would know this. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Timmy, for that clarification. I appreciate you being here today. The other one that always messed me up was this Djinn, the old Ernham. Because the fact it was in Chronicles, I was always very like, I don't like that card. It was always kind of a personal thing. Flying Men, again, common card, but very cool. Over here, we got our Light and Dark Turtles. And of course, the infamous Guardian Beast over here. Definitely a played condition. Beast and Rooney. Actually pretty clean. A lot of surface scratching and denting. Holy cow, slid on the concrete quite a bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. A ton of light marks all over it. Beautiful light played card. Well, beautiful played card. But, Guardian Beast was... So much discussion was always around Guardian Beast. Certain cards in Arabian Nights, like Guardian and Shahrazad, certain cards are always a very questionable. How do you define the value? How does the market price it? There's always weird times like that. That's what happened with like Drop of Honey. It was just mispriced for a long time. And people realized, wait a minute, Drop of Honey is not a $25, $50 card. It's $500 to $1,000. So a lot of cards like that were always weirdly mispriced. Then other cards, iffity biffity, were always held back because, being reprinted and like revised kind of thing. Island of Whack Whack, Walk Walk, whatever version you want to call it. Never a huge fan of it, but again, I understood it was a really cool art, very unique card, but the fact it could never tap for colorless was one of the reasons I didn't like the card. It was never really a big thing to me. Again, a very, very well-loved card on this one. You can see quite a bit of play on this thing. I don't see any Sharpie or inking, but a lot of paper wear on the side there. And of course, most people in terrible pocket pages. I'm going to take these out and put brand new clean ones in. And of course, the big baddie of them all. The Djinn on this bad boy, that's pretty clean. That's nice. That's probably one of the nicer condition cards in the set, which is very nice to see, especially after some of those rough ones. And of course, cards like Jihad and everything after the cultural bannings of 2020. Wow! Gypsies and stone-throwing devils and jihads and armies of Allahs and, oh my goodness, and invoking the peas onto your ex. I know, everybody got stupid. But again, Jihad was always a good piece of history here. Obviously, Cabal Ghul, Saddlebags. Sorcerer's Queen was another one I never really bought a lot of in Arabian Nights because of the 4th edition reprint. I was never really a big fan of it. And of course, the card that continues to haunt me and kind of confuse me, the world-famous Library of Alexandria. To this day, I don't understand why this card has dropped so much. Oh, Rudy, it's a 1-of versus Bazaar's a 4-of. If you play Magic, you would know. Come on, Timmy. This is another one of those cards. It's just, this has got to be one of Mark Pohl's most iconic pieces of art. And it's just such an interesting card. Such an extremely, people used to call that, the Power 10 would be the 10th card. Other people called the Power 10 would be Time Volt. It was always an interesting thing. And of course, the only basic land, Mountain. There are still people obsessed with collecting those mountains. Not a fan of anything else here, Majays and Cavalries and ships and the minimum. I was never a huge fan of those cards, but of course, Old Man of the Sea. If you guys look back on my channel, I think if you go back on, if you go on YouTube, type in Alpha Investments, maybe broker, when I was a stockbroker. There's a story time video. In the intro to the story time video, I have around like 100 Old Man of the Seas laid out on a desk. Again, one of my early buy cards is around $50 a piece. And I bought most of them for around $50 a card. And this was, what, 6-7 years ago? I mean, I think they've doubled in 7 years, I guess. Maybe to maybe 150, 200 range now. So, I mean, it's not that they've done bad, but it didn't 10x my money. But, it was still a very cool thing. Very comfortable to have that. A lot of speculation was always around the blacksmith. A lot of speculation around the pyramids. Ubalettis and Abulettis. A lot of speculation until they reprinted it. Out of all the Aladdin's ring and everything, I always thought the Ring of Maruf was an interesting one. And, of course, I was always a huge fan of the Serendib, the Djinn version of the Serendipities. And, of course, the Shahrazad, one of the most iconic cards in Magic's history, and of course by Richard Garfield's. He's one of was this Richard Garfield's most hated card or most loved? I can't remember which one it was. Very annoying card, but very bizarre card. And then of course the number 3 card after Old Man of the Sea, and of course after what was it? Old Man of the Sea, Elephant Graveyard, and Singing Tree. The tree with the giant opening you stick your head in. Wait, which head? No, the giant tree you stick your head. The Singing Tree with the big mouth. I always thought this was an underappreciated card. I understand it's a 4-drop. If it was like a 1 or 2-drop, it'd be a different conversation. But the fact it was an 0-3, still died to Lightning Bolt. But the fact it could reduce kind of a Maze of Ith, a creature, to 0, I thought was a very interesting card for green. I thought the argument on Singing Tree was always the casting cost was too high. Of course, Rook Eggs is Sinbad. Stone Throwing Devils, I'm not allowed to talk about it because that is a cultural ban card because some people curl up into a ball of cabbage and they roll down the street like the tumbleweed guy. Nothing else to say on this page. The Freet, another, I think this is a coin flip card, right? If I recall correctly. This was one that I always thought was interesting because the artwork freaked me out. Yeah, this is a coin flip card. Not a lot of coin flip cards nowadays. I mean, I guess the closest to coin flips would be like rolling a D20, Adventure, Dungeons and Dragons style cards. That was kind of a closer thing. But that's our nice little journey through memory lane on Arabian Nights today, folks. Some final thoughts to everybody out there. In times of discounts in bear markets and flat markets, views are lower. Excitement is non-existent. Comments and attitude towards things become more, waste of time, waste of money. Oh, investing in a kid's card game. Oh, you get a lot of, kind of, market noise and, silly nanny, goofy stuff. But, it's funny because when you do collecting and investing, the times that you really should be collecting and investing are the times that suck and the times that you don't enjoy collecting and investing. And the problem is, in the times that everybody wants to collect and invest, historically are the wrong times. So, that's the point of this video. Arabian Night Set. Played set. Not gem minty. Not worth, tens of thousands of dollars in this condition or anything. But it's crazy to me that Arabian Night Sets have dropped this much. And, I would like to continue to buy as many as I can. And if you have an Arabian Night Set, no matter how bad the condition is, you're probably still looking at $5,000, $10,000 range. Depends if it's gem mint or, dog bites in the bottom. But still, if you're looking to sell an Arabian Night Set, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. Love to hear your story. Love to send me the old PP with the pictures and prices. No giggities on Arabian Nights. Maybe a little giggity. And it's just one of those things where, if you want a safe, risk-free way to sell it and nice little video to have some memories in the future of the set you sold to the Rudy Vault, I'm your dude. Other than that, I still don't think there's much more downside. A lot of people disagree. They still think we're in an unraveling phase of ABU 4 Horsemen products. A lot of people still believe that we are going to continue to just drift and erode sideways or maybe negative 5 to 10% over the next 1 to 3 years before we get a bottom and before old cards and collectors and all this stuff actually appreciates. I don't know. I'm not good at timing and predicting when the market's going to do or make a change, but I definitely don't see any catalyst right now of prices appreciating in value. Whether it's something old or it's something brand new, I don't think it makes any difference right now. I do think there will be a time when the market shifts on us, but I think it's going to be a long time, folks, and I don't think that's what a lot of people want to hear. I don't think a lot of people want me to be honest of how long it's going to be, but it's going to be a while. Thanks for watching, folks.